obviously my name's BOSSAGE and this is my channel. So today is another latest military news video. Got quite a lot to cover. 5 or 6 countries have been blasting out news. Some are new to this channel. I hope you can hear me. Sorry. I've got the fan on because it's boiling, and if you a repeated video you'll know the fish tank. But if Crisp is doing his job, you won't be able to hear me. So if you like what you see, don't forget to comment, like and subscribe. Any requests for videos will take priority as per usual, and if I get 100 subscribers I will get a green screen, and then you won't see all of this mess. You'll see whatever I'm talking about. So if it's military, I'll put up a massive picture of HMS Queen Elizabeth, or something related to military. So without further ado, let's crack on. So these are all within the last week, as normally with these videos, but a few newcomers to my channel. So I've got stuff on Australia and the Philippines. This is going to be a two-parter, I think, because not only have I got a Royal Navy section, I've got a United Kingdom section. But anyway, let's start with the Philippines. So on my latest news video, I went on about China and the fact they've done this new maritime law saying that any vessel, whether it's commercial, private or military, needs to submit to Chinese authorities, as China wants to know the type of vessel, what it's carrying, where it's going, the next port of call. And I said that countries aren't going to stand for this, and I used the example of submarines, being the fact that submarines are designed to be untraceable. They're designed to go wherever they like, wherever they're needed, without being detected. So an article has come out. Philippines vows to ignore China maritime law, seeks US help. So the Philippine Defense Chief has visited Washington DC to press for a comprehensive review of mutual defense treaty, lobby for advanced military equipment. So even with the Philippines not being as advanced as others, they wanted to stand up to China, because, as I've stated before, what China is doing is wrong, and there's a few articles in here that come thick and fast about China. But yeah, just slightly going off topic, there was one, and it was by China, I think I've got it up on this video, actually saying that China hopes that allies and other countries will basically do the right thing, and it basically depicts China as the victim and everybody else being in the wrong. But we'll get to that. So on this article about the Philippines, they're saying that our stand on the law is that we do not honour those laws by the Chinese within the West Philippine Sea, because we consider that we have the sovereign right within these waters. They don't recognise the law of the Chinese. it also just goes on about historical rights. As I've stated before, the law requires all foreign vessels sailing in the South China Sea to report their information to Chinese authorities. So, like I just said, any vessel. Although China was taken to court, Beijing has ignored the ruling and has continued to expand its presence in the area and building artificial islands complete with runways and docks, igniting more tensions with neighbouring countries. So, there is a lot of territorial claims in the South China Sea, and there overlap as well. So it says here, the law covers 5 types of vessels, including submersibles, nuclear vessels, ships carrying radioactive materials, ships carrying bulk, oil, chemicals, liquefied gas and other toxic and harmful substances, and other vessels that might endanger China's maritime traffic safety. So China is trying to palm it off as a safety thing, which it isn't. China has clarified the new law does not hinder freedom of navigation in the South China Sea, but the US calls it a serious threat, and a foreign policy expert has described it as an attempt by China to force other countries to submit to its control by reporting their ships to Chinese authorities. So, I don't know about you guys, but I see submersibles and nuclear. What are nuclear, most of the time, and are submersibles? Submarines. They're wanting submarines to give away everything that makes a submarine great. Basically, their stealth ability will be annihilated because they have to report to China. And I agree with the US, it is a serious threat. And the fact that Beijing has clarified that the new law does not hinder freedom of navigation in the South China Sea, that is bullshit. You heard it, bullshit. Because it does. If you're just wanting to get from A to B, carrying out your job, like an oil tanker, and you're just going from where you've picked up the oil to where you're dropping off the oil, and you have to report to the Chinese authorities, that hinders your work. Because there has been other articles saying that you need to tell China where's your next port of call. So, yeah, I'm fully with the Philippines here. They need help. But in all fairness, I can understand why they've gone to the US. Obviously, one of the biggest, if not the biggest, military power. But Australia is nearer to them. They could send a couple of destroyers. And also Japan would help. We'll just have to wait until that develops more. So yeah, first news article on my channel from the Philippines. Next we'll go to the US. Only 3 articles to do with the United States today. So the US Navy is developing a future solar powered drone and it boasts game-changing endurance and payload. The article states that solar power, just as wind power, is making a comeback, so to speak, with the world now focusing on clean sources of energy. But while it's mostly associated with immovable objects such as houses and production plants, a revolutionary project tends to pioneer a solar-powered drone with the capabilities of an advanced aircraft. So, this article goes on to say about the aerospace industry is filled with new names, since so many startups are taking the chance at winning on this promising market. One of them is Skydweller, a name worth remembering because it's associated with a truly revolutionizing concept. The US Spanish aerospace company is working on a solar-powered aircraft solutions. So that seems something to look out for, really. There's pictures here. The thing looks massive. 4 propellers. And it looks like it's just got like solar panels all over it. There's no official date for the drone, but it's sure to make an impact. So this next article, I don't know really why I've put it into the lineup, because it just goes on about F-35 joins 2 F-16s to feed over Alaska. But it does make a point that refueling video pictures make some of the best photos. So this F-35 and 2 F-16s have met up and are refueling over Alaska. Because they were taking part in an air refueling operation that involved an Alaska Air National Guard KC-135R Stratotanker. And it goes on to state that refueling operations most of the time create some of the best refueling pictures. This next one is the article begins with F-35 Brits falling behind China and Russia threats, panel warns. So 2 points it makes at the top of this article is it's uncertain that the F-35 can evolve to keep up, lawmakers say. Which, a couple of points here I'd just like to make. Is, right, so you're a lawmaker, which even if you're a lawmaker that does military law, you won't have a lot of background in military. So the people who have accepted the F-35 concept, who have built the F-35, who have accepted the F-35 and its capabilities, know a hell of a lot more than any lawmaker. The countries, which are a lot of, the countries that have bought the F-35 won't have spent all that money lightly. They won't have gone, yeah, we'll spend all that money on all them F-35s. They'll have done it because they can see greatness in it. The second point this article makes is saying that the fighter jet's extraordinary cost is cited as a hindrance. And yet, you've got, just off the top of my head, Japan, UK, the US, operating them. Australia are using them. The Netherlands, Italy, Israel, Denmark, Belgium and Denmark are planned to have the F-35A. Norway, Poland's got 32 F-35As on order. South Korea has got 11 out of the 60 ordered, and 20 are planned, which I imagine the 20 that are planned are for their new aircraft carrier. Singapore, 4 to be ordered with the option to order 8 more as of March 2019, so obviously this article hasn't been updated. Turkey, United Arab Emirates, and that's just to name a few. Canada has done great interest in ordering the F-35, so yeah, the cost, obviously the more people buy them, the cost will die down, but yeah, I'm not saying the F-35 is cheap, but it's still popular. It's still it's a great piece of machinery, and to say the America, to my knowledge, operates 2 variants at least, if not all 3 variants. Is amazing. I mean, the United Kingdom only operates the B variant, but still. So this, to the people who said this is a US Defence Policy Committee. I'm just trying to see who they are. They just do legislation. The lawmakers, basically lawyers. Anyway, moving swiftly on before I get agitated that the fact a bunch of lawyers are concerned about things that they shouldn't really be concerned about. I mean, you make law, fine, deal with that, do what you're good at, supposedly you're good at it. Don't interfere with who's in charge of acquiring equipment for defence sector. I mean, it's just none of your business, really. If you needed to pass a law, yeah, sorry, if I should have known this. If I mentioned Turkey's got F-35s, they've only got 4. Future orders have been banned by the US, and that's because Turkey have ordered missile defense systems off Russia, and obviously that's a no-no. But yeah, like I said, moving on. So this article I was massively intrigued about. So, because I'm a big Trekkie, love Star Trek, and at the moment I see Enterprise, I'm like, yeah, gotta have it if I can, got to know about it if I can. So this article is titled "The Greatest US Aircraft Carrier Will Finally Hit the Seas in 2028. So in 7 years from now, the USS Enterprise will hit the seas. This article goes on to say the Enterprise is part of a Navy 2-carrier biplan design by the carrier, by the Navy, to lower production costs and streamline technology integration. It's going to have the pennant number CVN81. It's already passing through several key planning and preparation phases, progressing quietly beneath the ongoing discussion about just what the future may hold for American aircraft carrier. As the Navy's 3rd Ford-class carrier is powering along toward being ready for duty. While there is naturally much focus upon the 1st in-class USS Ford, which is nearing its first deployment, as well as the 2nd in-class USS Kennedy, the new USS Enterprise CVN 80 is slated for delivery by as soon as 2028. So this article gets it a bit confusing. So CVN-81 is USS Doris Miller, which is going to be, that's well on the way. We'll just have a look. So yeah, Enterprise and Doris Miller, they're both part of the 2-carrier rear biplan. And then the 5th big one is on order, but obviously it's continuing the 2 biplan. Then obviously there are going to have to be more aircraft carriers. There are expected to be 10, but to date there's only been 5 announced. So sidetracking a little bit, the USS Gerald R. Ford replaced USS Enterprise CVN-65, which was decommissioned February 2017. John F. Kennedy, that's been fitted out. That's to replace USS Nimitz. USS Enterprise is under construction, and that is to be replacing USS Dwight D. Eisenhower, CVN-69. USS Doris Miller is going to replace USS Carl Vision, CVN-70. CVN-82, the name yet to be decided, will replace Theodore Roosevelt. The thing that is confused me a bit is, right, so Gerald R. Ford is replacing USS Enterprise, which is fine. We need an aircraft carrier called Enterprise. But the USS was the only one of a kind, the only one in a class. She was the Enterprise class. So I don't quite understand, really, because America has got 10 super carriers, so you'd think that the Gerald R. Ford would replace them like for like. Gerald R. Ford would replace Nimitz, John F. Kennedy would replace Dwight Eisenhower, and so forth. But no, in fact, Gerald R. Ford is replacing a USS Enterprise CVN-65, which was an Enterprise-class aircraft carrier. So whether there's going to be 11 super carriers, I don't know. I don't know if I've stated this in previous videos, but for a lengthy amount of time, America will have 11, at least 11 super carriers, due to the lifespan of the Nimitz class aircraft carriers. So at the minute they've got 11, because the Nimitz is still in active service. She'll be the first to be decommissioned. She is due to be decommissioned by 2025, so she's still got 4 years of active service. Before she hits the recycling program. Although it is stated she'll be replaced around 2022 by the USS John F. Kennedy. It depends on Defense Department funding, so yeah, there could be end up with 12 Gerald R. Ford classes, which wouldn't strike me as odd. It wouldn't surprise me. The United States Navy is wanting to expand its navy. I think they're wanting to get to like 350. I think that's the number there. Aiming for 350 ship strong navy. So God knows where that leads, but be glad to see an Enterprise. Pardon me. Unfortunately, she'll never dock at Portsmouth, so I won't see her. Because the Gerald R. Ford class are slightly bigger than the Nimitz, and Nimitz class are too big to enter Portsmouth. Anyway, moving on. To China. Sorry, I was just looking at the time. I thought the video was longer than it actually is, but we've only been going for half an hour. So this article is titled "The Chinese Navy is Building Aircraft Carriers, but to what end?" Side heading on this is China growing a carrier force meant to protect its interests or expand them? See, this is why I like doing what I do, because when I go onto YouTube, obviously, like everybody, on the homepage you get videos related to what you've searched, what your interests are. And I see a lot of fake and misleading news. So like when it comes up about, there was one, I'm not going to mention the YouTuber out of respect, whether they deserve that respect or not. Saw one and it was about the Gerald R. Ford class aircraft carrier. Fair enough, brilliant piece of engineering, looks lovely, carries loads of aircraft and carries a massive payload. But the thumbnail, the first image, was on a Gerald R. Ford class, was on a Nimitz class. It was an aircraft carrier that the picture was either made, so it was falsified, or it was taken from a film or something. It was basically a huge flat deck, quite low to the surface of the sea, and had like 4 jet engines at the back. You wouldn't have a jet engine in an aircraft carrier anyway, but this aircraft carrier did. It had 4 massive jet engines, a huge flat deck. It was so futuristic. Even somebody who had no idea about aircraft carriers, had no interest or idea about military, would know that's fake. Anyway, going back to this. So that's why I like doing what I do, because I just keep it real. All that fake and misleading information I just don't do. So as I've stated before about China, this article saying whether the growth in Chinese aircraft carriers is to protect its interests or expand them, it's been a bit dumb. China is expanding anyway. It's building islands, fortifying them, making them military. China's already stated they are wanting to build aircraft carriers like America. So, for every aircraft carrier America has, China wants one. It ain't gonna happen. Like I've just said not so long ago, USA has got 10 Nimitz class aircraft carriers. Pretty much all I've just had the midlife refit, all just had maintenance, all fully loaded. Some of them will probably be switched over to F-35s. I doubt the Nimitz will, just because of its lifespan and what it's got left. But yeah, I don't think they're going to do it, because the more ships you have, the more vessels you need to maintain, which costs money. China does not know how much it costs to maintain a carrier fleet of 10 aircraft carriers. They'll learn, they'll find out, but they don't know as of yet. So it's alright to keep saying, right, we'll build another one, we'll build another one. Yeah, but you need the money to build it. Then you need the money to run it. You need the money to buy aircraft for it. And then obviously you need money to maintain them, to refuel them, to rearm them. So China needs to realise where it's going. So it says here, here's what you need to remember. All of this lead to a number of unsolved questions. To what end is Beijing building this farce? That isn't an unanswered question. As I've said many times on this channel, China is wanting war. Plain and simple. Even if we forget my theory about, and it's not just my theory, a lot of people agree with me, that China has biologically engineered the COVID-19, even if you throw that out the window, just squash it up and throw it out the window, China is being aggressive. You can tell by its actions, by building these bases, by doing this maritime law, by threatening the UK and its carrier strike group. All of this. How many carriers will the plan unlimited build? So plan, aka PLAN, means the People's Liberation Army Navy. How many, so like I just said, how many carriers will they build? Not an unanswered question. YouTuber BOSSAGE can answer that. They're wanting to build, like for like, America. Question answered. Is China growing a carrier force meant to protect its interests or expand them? It says here we simply don't know, but we'll certainly find out. Yes, we do know. China is being aggressive, forceful in its actions. It plays the victim, but its actions alone, like the old saying goes, actions speak louder than words. It's building, and has built, islands, not for any use apart from military. They've put docks on them, they've put runways on them, and their navy surrounds them. So, as well as other actions, like 3 of their submarines stalked the UK carrier strike group. There was one in front, which had the Royal Navy's astute carrier, the astute submarine picked up, and there was 2 behind the group, which the Type 23 frigates, HMS Kent and HMS Richmond, picked up. So, we do know. So, it's stated here, most of modern history, China has been the target of aircraft carriers, not an owner of one. This article actually, I'm just trying to find the date, 11th of September. Whoever's wrote this, their information is quite old, although the article is only 6 days old. Says, today China has 2 aircraft carriers. The Liaoning, sorry if I've not pronounced that right, and a second unnamed ship, which is wrong. They've got the Liang and the Shandong, if I'm pronouncing that right, and the construction at a 3rd. I don't believe they've got third name. I mean, I don't believe they've got a name for the third aircraft carrier. So they've got their Type 3, which hasn't got a name, and they've got a Type 4. Is planned to be larger than the Type 3 and also feature nuclear propulsion, which could power weapons like lasers and railguns. It is claimed that construction started in December 2017. I'm not even going to pronounce that shipyard, but yeah. So yeah, if that article is true, then we know that the Type 3 aircraft carrier is close to the end of it's closer to the end of construction than to the beginning, and then obviously they'll start on this fourth one, but they're doing them at a really good rate of construction and there's no sign of them stopping. So although they do seem inferior, each Chinese aircraft carrier is superior to the one before. They keep learning and developing from the previous aircraft carrier. All they've learnt and developed from the first, they're put into the second. So each of their aircraft carriers is like an evolution of the one before. So yeah, this article is quite close behind. It's quite pardon me. So moving on. This article has title is "Has China Cracked the Code on Creating the Perfect Stealth Plane? A combination of geometric trickery and radar absorbing paint just might do the trick," is the subheading. And the heading that states, "Here's what you need to remember. Meta materials clearly are promising and over time could be used in warplane production around the world, but they are not revolutionary." So with their new model and breakthroughs in materials fabrication, they developed a membrane known as a metasurface, which can absorb radar waves in the widest spectrum yet, reported South China Morning Post reported. As we know, Russia's information that comes out of there, there's a lot of disinformation and basically lies. But China, I don't know really how to put it. China, they do lie, but it seems they lie to make themselves look good, which don't make it right, but they also lie to make themselves look the victim. So whether they do or not, I don't know. Their current technology and what they're spilling out, like aircraft wise and that, isn't revolutionary. It's sort of the same as everybody else, maybe lacking behind, maybe a little bit in front, but nothing substantial. So we'll just have to wait and see about that. This article, when I read it, I was like, wow, why And this article does back up the fact China's just wanting to basically piss off people. China sends warships to Alaska. Why do that? So it says here, China dispatched a task force of warships led by the pride of Beijing's fleet to patrol waters of Alaska, escalating its rivalry with the United States to maritime dominance. So, two guided missile destroyers believed to be Type 055 Nanshang and Type 052D Juyang vessels were joined by a surveillance ship and a resupply vessel in a fleet that sailed into US exclusive economic zone. Obviously they were shadowed by US forces, but why? They've got no need to be right up there. They're just doing it. All I think they're doing that for is to, like I said, to piss off America. And there's just no need. And you might say, well, the UK's carrier strike group has got a US destroyer. The US are down there, and often are down there. Yes, but everybody pretty much who sends warships near China aren't doing it to piss off China. They're doing it because of how China are. They're doing it to promote freedom of navigation, to show that the world is not afraid of China, and that if we want to send a warship through the South China Sea, we can. Freedom of navigation. China do not own them waters, and if we want to go back and forth till our heart's content, we can do that. I could really get irritated with that article as well. So we'll move on. China denies German warship entry to harbour, Berlin says. This article actually was yesterday. China has denied German warship on a mission to the contested South China Sea entering to a harbour. A German foreign minister spokesman said on Wednesday, the ship involved is a frigate Bainan. I hope I've pronounced that right. The spokesman told a news briefing, but did not identify the Chinese harbour. The vessel set sail from Germany last month for a 6-month mission to the South China Sea. I did talk about this a bit back. I think Germany's getting a bit brave because we've sent a carrier strike group in there. And other ships from Australia and America and other countries have done it. I think Germany wants to be seen to be doing something as well. So the German spokesperson said China has decided that it does not want a harbour visit, and we took notice of that. Oh yeah, so this article was what I was on about at the beginning of the video, saying that China's playing the victim. So China's foreign ministry spokesman, I'm not even going to dare pronounce his name, but when asked about the incident, said that China hoped countries outside the region would play a constructive role and respect regional countries' efforts to maintain peace and stability. And this is sort of a moment, really. The only countries that are affecting the area's peace and stability are China, Russia, and North Korea. That's basically it. you've got them three thinking they're better than everybody else. It's just... And by the way, people, if you want a video about them three, let me know in the comments. Moving on, because China does irritate me a hell of a lot. Because they've gone from being on the offensive, and don't get me wrong, they're still on the offensive, but we've had articles from being on the offensive to now they're going on to, like, oh yeah, we're the victim, we only want peace and that. No, you don't. Because you won't be sending warships up to the United States, to Alaska. You won't be doing that. You won't be threatening the UK carrier strike group if you wanted peace. You won't be sending 3 submarines to stalk the carrier strike group. So don't give me that crap. Bloody Chinese. So we'll end this segment, I think. Yeah, we're getting close to an hour. So, boost for Boeing jobs in UK as RAF is awarded $400 million to upgrade its fleet. So, the Royal Air Force will get $400 million to upgrade its fleet of C-17 planes and Chinook helicopters. Boeing will also carry out the work with Pratt & Whitney in the US Air Force. The spending is part of a 4-year, $24 billion defence spree by Boris Johnson. Embattled aerospace giant Boeing has received a boost as the government agrees to pour $400 million into military aircraft, including planes used in the UK's evacuation of Afghanistan. The Royal Air Force will receive $400 million to upgrade its fleet of C-17 Glidemaster planes and Chinook helicopters, both developed by US Aerospace and Defence Specialist. This goes on to saying about improving the C-17 and 8 fast plate. So they've got 8 of these, and they're capable of carrying 2 large helicopters. Its systems will be enhanced to allow longer range communications, making flight and information easier for pilots to read, and its parachute capabilities will be improved. C-17s have been used by the UK for 20 years and are available to 9 nations, including the US, India, under the 5.5-year contract. So, when asked why US contractors were awarded the work, so the Air Chief Marshal was asked why US contractors were awarded the work. He said, "There are no UK equivalents on the market, but we are determined to make clear to US contractors there has to be divided for highly skilled jobs in the UK." So, the head of Boeing Defence UK said, "The Chinook and C-17 have been central to our military transport and logistics for decades, and we look forward to many more years of service for both." So, I'll end it there. We're at the hour stage of the video. I've still got stuff to do with the Royal Navy, Australia, the carrier strike group and North Korea to get through. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know when I do new content. The next live I'm literally going to finish this and get on with it. So if you want to join me immediately after, all well and good. See you there in a couple of seconds. If not, then it would be nice to have you here. See you in a minute. Thanks for